Um, I'm Joe Patchen. I'm president-elect. I'd like to welcome all of you to the 15th meeting of the 50th year of the Dublin Worthington Rotary Club. Al Wu, if you will be so kind as to lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, you're here with me. Father, thank you for the gift of a new year and a new beginning. Guide our steps, strengthen our faith, and fill us with hope. Bless our endeavors and help us to love and serve others with joy. May this year bring growth, peace, and your presence in all we do. We trust in you, in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Go back.
They went.
Anybody with announcements will come up. I'd appreciate that. I'm afraid it is ordinarily the job of the president-elect to introduce our visitors. I might ask. It's okay, thank you very much.
We have our speaker and then we have two guests right here. so
I
maybe
know
they
we
just
have our
wanna-
speaker, and I'm gonna let that happen later. Carl is visiting from the Whitehall Rotary Club. Carl Holtman.
Yeah.
Welcome. And I'm gonna mispronounce your first name, Mary.
Hey,
Mire? Mire Bas. Where are you visiting us from?
I'm coming from Turkey. We are leading a project with dear Carl Holtman. We are leading a project which is called Be the Voice of Girls. It's an after-school program, and I'm the ground coordinator of that program. My hometown is Hatay, the city near the Syria border, and our program is all about educating girls, and I'm an English teacher officially in a government school in my country. And I teach English and through arts. We have some art teams for each month, and this project is granted by US Mission Ankara, Turkey. This is granted by them, and they are our supporters. And also Whitehall Bexley Rotary Club is one of the our grantors. That's why I'm here to visit the Rotarians, to thank to send my girls thanks to these nice people. That's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. And I think I know what announcement you're gonna give us.
Ready?
Yes, please.
Super Bowl Saturday is a week from this Saturday. I just learned today that we got 3 teams today, so we're up to 18, which is the exact number we had last year, which is one of the most successful tournaments we've had. So, but we still got a week plus to get some more teams in, so don't stop now. There's some stuff at the tables for signing up in terms of we have the volunteer opportunities that are available, or if you want to let us know, you can sign up a team and let me know, and I'll pick those up after the meeting. So thanks to everybody who's helped us out so far, and keep up the good work. Thanks.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Our community service usually meets on the third Monday, which would have been the 20th. And that, there just happened to be a few conflicts there, like the Ohio State football game, there's national championship. So we moved the game, or they're not the game, did not move the game. We were moving the committee meeting to this coming Monday, the 27th. And because our normal location is not available anymore, since we were the guest of someone who just moved, we're going to be doing it at Panera Bread in the Worthington Mall at 6:30 p.m. next Monday. So that's the next community service. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think our speaker needs no introduction, but Tim's gonna give him one anyway, so.
Well.
Or
I have
not.
an announcement.
Oh, you,
I have an
pardon
announcement.
me. Would you please?
And I see, Jerry writing checks, but I'm not getting paid for this, right? So don't.
Well, we're taking your honorarium and putting it in the scholarship funds.
Oh, okay, good. District Governor-elect, Sandy Knazel has her winter assembly on February 22nd, Saturday, February 22nd. It's a combination of what's traditionally been a winter, district leadership meeting and the district assembly, which is usually sometime in April or in combination with district conference. So trying to get, people, basically club leadership there to see what's gonna be happening under her year and to get some training. Whether you be a district officer or just someone who you want, some of you who have never been to a district event, be a great time. It's in Newark at the Reese Center, the OSU Reese Center. But again, it starts at 9, Saturday, February 22nd. And if you have any questions, please, see me afterwards. I'll send you information. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Don't go too far away. Oh, you're absolutely right. See, it's true that I'm not very seasoned at this. Thank you very much. Mike Bolt needs to come up here and he has a job to do as our sergeant.
Joe,
Thank you.
promise forgive me.
Yes.
Nah, I won't find you $1. Since you're new to the position, we'll let that one go. Let's see who we got here. Dick O'Lilla.
Yes.
Was that you wearing a muskrat hat in? And I heard you talking about some kind of animal you were wearing on your head. Possum fur, okay. Well, carry the pot for me if you don't mind. And anybody get anybody in here that's got hair, because if you don't have hair, you gotta wear a hat. You know, even if you do have hair. These guys with full heads of hair though. That's just not right. How many folks we have in here are alumni of the Ohio State University? Raise your hand. Look at that. Well, for those of you who did not raise your hand, you get to pay $1. And what about a win? Monday night and Tuesday night. You didn't get to see the game last night. Basketball Buckeyes took down number 11 Purdue in Purdue. It was a good game. So anyhow, I had a whole list of questions and somehow seem to have lost my sheet, but see if I can remember a few of them here. But these back two tables here are Darnell and the good doctor over there. When was the first time OSU won the national title? What year? 1942? Are you sure? Well, the national title actually was Jim Tressel era, but for the new CFP program. So, yeah, that was close. Get $1 from these guys too for throwing out wrong answers.
I just want you to know that my uncle played in the 1942
Oh, did you really?
Ohio State Championship.
Nice.
He did not.
Well, they also won in 64, I think 64, where they were voted #1 from the National Sports Writers Association, so. Who else? And there you go, get $1 anyways, all these guys out here. How about Notre Dame fans? How many Notre Dame fans we got out there? Oh, my gosh. Well, they won't get everybody that's not a Notre Dame fan. Those guys played a heck of a game, and I like their coach, ex-Buckeye. So if you're not a Notre Dame fan, you get to pay $1. How many times, these two tables here, how many times did Buckeyes beat Notre Dame recently? Recently.
What do you mean
Recently.
recently? Well, you have to tell me what recent.
Okay, how many years in a row? How many years in a row?
7.
Now, they've beaten them 7 times, but they've only won 3 in a row. So get these two tables right here. Get $1 from these two guys. You guys all went to OSU. You gotta have some information in your head there. And what else? We're getting slim pickings now, but like I said, I lost my sheet, but that's okay. Teresa. Oh, who wants to get a hug? Teresa said she's volunteer. By the way, I did miss Happy Dollar, so who out here is happy? Anybody happy about it? About today?
I'm happy.
Okay,
I have $1.
okay, and you're happy because?
Maybe she's just
Because
always
of my
happy.
girls. Because of my project.
Oh, nice,
Yes,
nice. And you're looking for support for your project?
sure.
Okay.
That's why we are here,
Fantastic.
to be honest.
Well, hopefully you will get a lot of support today. This guy over here, he's really slow. Better go get him. You better-
It's nice.
All right, last but not least. If you have not signed up for the Super Bowling, there's still time. There are sheets on your table. If you've not signed up yet, throw in $1. And then I'm done. Thank you, everybody. And the mic goes to, who we got next?
Yep.
Oh, Joe's got Tim coming up.
Yeah.
That's
You're
something
just
special.
blocking for it.
He's got. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Have that. Let me speak by.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, I know that Steve really needs no introduction, but I'm gonna do it briefly anyways. We all know, almost everyone in this room knows past district, director, excuse me, past district governor Steve Heiser. What you may not know about Steve's philanthropy is it goes much deeper. And I just lost my notes, Steve, so I'll wing it. Steve was one of the founding 3 board members of a movement and an NGO called Move to Prosper that seeks to help young, underserved, women, single moms, find a better place in the community and, some advantage in finding housing. They were formerly called.
No, it was formerly called Move to Prosper. It's not called Families Flourish.
Thank you. When Move to Prosper came to visit us 2 years ago,
Right.
that was right around the time at that conference of theirs.
Right.
And I gotta tell you, they're doing some exciting things. So without further ado, I'm gonna let Steve tell you about them.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Luckily, it's the other Steve in the room is gonna set it up for me, set up the PowerPoint.
Sure the folks online can see it.
Well, while he's doing that, I just want to say it's great, you know, as many of you may know, I was your assistant governor prior to becoming district governor. And in fact, as assistant governor, you were the first club meeting I attended as an assistant governor when Connie was your president, still over at La Scala. And a number of years.
Batteries died, so you might have to use.
Oh, that's-
I'll get it back.
Oh, okay. But other than Rotary, I'm getting to talk about, you know, probably my second favorite service area of service, and that's Families Flourish. As Tim said, we originally were founded as Move to Prosper. Name change within the last year because we felt it was just a better identification of what we do. So what we do is we try and take a holistic approach to helping families reach their goals. And we basically we have families who live in low opportunity neighborhoods in central Ohio. And what we do is. That works. Okay, you know, basically, once we raise enough money, we have a program that takes them from their low opportunity neighborhood to a higher opportunity neighborhood. It's a 3-year program. We give them, you'll see this on some of the future slides, we give them coaching and we give them some rental assistance. And these are paid coaches. This is not just mentors or someone you call. This is a paid coach who meets with them. And then we give them, then they have a monthly meeting of, originally it was all in person. Now, most of the monthly meetings with the other persons in their group, because we try and bring in now 16 to 18 families every 6 months. And they get to know the other families in their group as a support system. And and so we give them monthly meetings on different topics that will help them. And then what happens is they spend this time in the program and they learn how to be resilient. I mean, obviously they started out with some resiliency, but they learn how to get on their own 2 feet and feel that they themselves, the heads of household, doesn't have to be a mother. Originally started out with all single moms. Now it's open to, single dads and or couples, just have to meet the requirements of the program. Have to have children 13 years of age and younger. And that's how, and then at the end of those 3 years, they're on their own. But at this point, every time at the end of the 3 years, the families that graduate say, we're ready to go off on our own, which has been, wonderful for those of us involved in the program. So this is our mission, to create a more equitable community for families by empowering them to achieve and succeed through a holistic support initiative. So what do we do? Okay, so it's single or joint parenthood, 1 to 3 Medicaid eligible children. And the reason it's 1 to 3 is that we partner with landlords around the community, around Central Ohio, in higher opportunity neighborhoods. Now, higher opportunity neighborhoods are defined for us by a map put together by the Kirwan Institute that's associated with the Ohio State University. And, you think about what's a higher opportunity neighborhood. It's safe. It has resources like grocery stores and parks and also better school. Say what you want, better school systems. And so those are higher opportunity neighborhoods as they define it, and that's the definition that we use. They're currently experiencing housing insecurity. What does that mean? It probably means that they don't have, many of them are technically homeless. They're not living on the street or in a car, but they're living with a relative or living with a friend, or some have lived in cars prior to getting into the program, but they don't have their name on a lease that's their own at the time. And finally, because the children have to be Medicaid eligible, those are the incomes that the families can earn depending on the size of the family. We say up to 3 children because almost all of the complexes that landlords make available are have 2-bedroom units. And in every suburb that I know in the Central Ohio, the amount of persons you can have living in an apartment is based upon the number of bedrooms in that apartment. So if you're in a 2-bedroom apartment, you can only have 4 persons. So if you had a couple, if you had a husband and wife together, then you can only have, two children. If you have a single head of household, then you can have up to 3 children. So what we do is these, you're considered rent burdened if you pay more than 30% of your total income in housing costs. So that means people at the bottom of the eligibility scale can afford about $680 a month in rent. At the top, maybe about $1,300. currently, we started this program back in, back in 2018 is when we did a pilot program with 10 families. Prior to that, in late 2015, early 2016, we got together. Amy Clavin, who's the CEO and president, one of the co-founders, had been president for 16 years of Homeport, which is the largest affordable housing builder in central Ohio, or was at that time. She'd been CEO there for 16 years. She had announced her resignation. She wanted to do something else after being CEO there for 16 years. I happened to be sitting next to her at a Columbus Realtors annual gala in December. And after we heard the incoming president for Columbus Realtors give his speech, as we're walking out together, I said, Amy, what are you gonna do? You're too young, you're not gonna retire. She goes, I'm looking for something. I said, Amy, we can't build enough affordable housing for all the people who need it in central Ohio. But what bothers me is that every 18 years that children live in lower opportunity neighborhoods, we lose a generation of children. How can we do something for children to make sure that we don't keep losing a generation? She says, yeah, it's a good idea. Let's think about that. Then the two of us started meeting. We had lunch with representatives from the Weiler Kelly companies and from Casto, both of whom said this idea of possibly moving families to other communities. I mean, we hadn't really had it all thought out, but they said, we would make apartment complexes available. And that's what they do. They don't make units available. If there's a vacant unit, persons in the program can apply. And we do, training with the property managers. We're not on the lease. The program participant, the head of household, is on the lease, not our company, but they know we're there to support them. That's never been an issue. So they got us started. We had 10 families to start with in a pilot program. And, we gave them $400 a month in rent, a coach, and the monthly meetings. Now, every head of household, they had to have two things. They had to have a job, full-time job. And they had to have, the first pilot program, they had to have a car. Because they had to have mode of transportation to get to work. And in central Ohio, it's almost always a car. We since changed that to you don't need a car, but I think so far, I don't know that we've ever had anybody yet who hasn't had a car, who has for their way to work. Yeah. So this is what we do. Again, individual coaching, monthly programs, and rent support in the higher resource neighborhoods. This is now, we have 81 families in the follow-up program to the pilot. These are the different communities around central Ohio, higher opportunity neighborhoods where landlords have made complexes or apartments available. And those are most of the landlords. We have some additional we're always getting new ones, but those are some of the landlords who are participating in the program, they don't put all of the units that they manage and own in the program, but they put many of their complexes in it, which has been wonderful, because what we want to do is give these families choice. So we don't tell them where they have to live. They choose where they want to live, what complex, what works for them. We don't say, oh, you have to live in Gahanna, and you have to live in Worthington, and you have to live in Hilliard. No, they choose what complex, where they want to live. So that's why our landlord partners are so critical. If any of you are landlords or know of landlords, you don't see them on this list and think they might be appropriate to be involved in this program, please let me know. We're always looking for landlords. Okay. So this is the map that the Kerwin Institute uses for higher opportunity neighborhoods. So you can kind of, you can tell, higher opportunity, again, concentration of jobs, transportation, better schools, lower crime rates, grocery stores, parks, all that stuff. So we've recently asked the moms to tell us why they chose their new neighborhood and when they entered the program. Okay, Stephen.
Click on it.
There. Oh, there it is. Now it came up. Yeah.
Safety was number one.
And at the top of my list would be safety and security.
Somewhere that has a low crime rate.
Safety and security.
Also inclusivity, a place that has a nice sense of belonging and community. Another thing would be diversity.
Strong school system. A strong school system that has strong community ties.
Is it on a bus line? Are the grocery stores closer to me? How well am I able to communicate with the rental office?
Diversity and inclusion, because there is places that are very diverse, but not inclusive.
How happy my child was there, how convenient were things, had we outgrown our space?
Being able to afford the rent increase. I need to be able to put myself in a comfortable position to stay afloat with no assistance once this program is over. I do believe that I can make this happen, and I'm looking forward to meet that version of me. So thank you.
Okay. Okay. Just to give you an idea, and I think, well, it'll show later, but we've been successful with families, we've been successful with families being able to stay in their units after the 3-year program ends. So here are our pillars: education and career, health and wellness, housing, mobility and stability, and financial capability. Before they even start the program, once they're approved, once they're an applicant to be in the program, before they actually move into their unit, we give them landlord tenant training, and we give them basically, financial we give them financial capability training. We give, because one of the first things almost all the coaches do is help them create a budget. And very few of them have ever really been able to budget before, because they're living, you talk less than paycheck to paycheck, usually prior to this. So the rent support is very important. The coaching, they build their toolboxes. That we say there, our participants build their toolboxes. Okay, what are the results? This gives you an idea. Now, these results are for the first 10 families in the pilot program. So when they started in August 2018, they averaged $29,000 to 10 families. When in November 2021, 46,000. We extended that program till June of 2022 because of the pandemic. But basically, that's what they increased their annual income by 17,000 or 58%. And every family who wanted to stay in the unit that they lived in during the program could do it without the rental assistance once the program ended. And every family said, this has been a great experience. I'm ready to leave the program. Nobody wanted to stay in the program. We were there, obviously they could call their coach or whatever, but it wasn't as if they said, oh, the program's over, what am I gonna do? No, they were all ready to leave the program. Many of them have changed jobs, increased income, yeah, it's just, it was, and that's what made us want to continue doing this.
It's those monthly meetings.
Well, right, well, they have,
Yeah, but after 3 years of monthly meetings, I'm not going to another.
Right. So some of the other results were 20 fewer, emergency room visits, which equated to $30,000 in annual health savings, yeah. So these are the kinds of things that, because the number of children who had asthma issues and other breathing and health related issues were significant, and the reduction was heartwarming to see. Okay. So here's what, since those 10 families, 9 of 10 took the survey this past July. They're all seem to be doing well. Some are getting, one's getting certification, one's in a PhD program, I think they're going to Cleveland State Law School, and one's getting a real estate license. But they're all still working. They're all doing well. So what does all this cost? Our program is just under 20,000 per year per family, and that's a family. We're talking about a family of 3. But even if it's 4, basically, basically that's what we're talking about. So it's about just under 20,000 a family per year, which means when we try and raise money, we have to have all the money in the bank for 3 years before we start interviewing for new groups. We try and bring 16 to 18 families in every 6 months, which means basically we have to try and raise about $1 million every 6 months. I'll tell you right now that 85% of our donations come from individuals, either individuals or family foundations, which are basically the individual makes the decision. The others are corporate, foundation institutions. So one of the big things we're trying to do is change that percentage, but that's what it is. And this gives you an idea of what other options that families may have, families in low opportunity neighborhoods may have. And you see that what's nice is once these families are out of the program, they're not on assistance anymore of any type to speak of. So we're taking them out, we're taking them out of the government assistance programs. And now they're able to stand on their own 2 feet. So talented is evenly distributed. Opportunity is not.
I had a really great social worker. She was really impressed with the moves I was making as she connected me to Family Flourish. She thought that this would give me the extra boost that I needed. And she was absolutely correct. And one of the biggest things that Christina did for me is connect me to a software engineering nonprofit where I am now in school. And I'm learning how to code for front end, back end development. My dad used to take me to computer shows and things of that nature. So I was always into web development. It was one of those things I was into, but I never thought about going to school for it. It sounds more intimidating than it really is. They're trying to increase the statistics of women in the tech field. I have twins. They're 9, and I have a 3-year-old toddler. I was really kind of nervous about them switching schools. The school they go to is really fantastic. Like, the kids are really sweet. The faculty members are really nice. This past spring, when they was in school, they was a part of a tech. Before I got into it, they were a part of a STEM tech program at their school. That was really exciting that they had the opportunity. After school opportunities was not available at their old school. Take advantage of any opportunities given to you. You don't know how high you can fly if you keep looking down. You just don't.
So a study that was done in the 2015, it said Columbus at the time was the second most economically segregated city in the US. Austin was, at that time, was the most economically segregated city in the US. A zip code is the single biggest contributor to a child's life outcome. One of the reasons, it's interesting, you haven't seen a child in either of the videos. If you go to our website, obviously you'll see a lot of videos with the children in the program because they have succeeded. beyond expectation. But the reason that we really started this program was because there was data that was done by Raj Chetty, an economist at Harvard. He and his colleagues did large data sets from the IRS of tax returns. And what he was able to show is if a child lived in a higher opportunity neighborhood based on zip code, for even 1 year, their chances of graduating high school, college, and or earning $300,000 more in their lifetime increased by 30 to 40%. And that's just living in a higher opportunity neighborhood for 1 year. You know, our program is 3 years. So we felt this was really started to get the children into higher opportunity neighborhoods. Turned out not only children, but also the parents, you know, can succeed really well doing this, you know, in this program, given the right supports. What I will always say is, we are not taking for this program, if socioeconomic mobility is a ladder, I'll say the persons in our program start out, they're on the 7th rung. They're not homeless, they're not living up, you know, under the bridge, thankfully. Because they have jobs and they have a mode of transportation. But they're still, many of them are technically homeless. Many of them have, you know, other, you know, significant issues with where they were living, and the children were not thriving as they had wanted. So with our program has been able to help them. What I've seen is as you go down that socioeconomic mobility ladder, people on the 2nd rung, 3rd rung, 4th, they need what we do plus additional supports. That's why one program will not work for every family in lower opportunity neighborhoods. That's been one of the big things that I have seen. You need, as you go down the rungs, those people need more support and different kinds of supports. Our program works really well for the people we choose, which, you know, as it says here, the housing crunch, as we all know, is getting worse, and Central Ohio is going to get drastically worse unless we're able to build some more units. So our friends at the Affordable Housing Alliance, Central Ohio, they did a late 2023 study asking what would happen if in Central Ohio, if everyone could afford their rent or mortgage, you know, what would these outcomes look like? And it would allow 3,000 more Central Ohio 3rd graders, you know, read it. Those are the things that can happen if everybody in Central Ohio could afford, you know, their rent or mortgage. It would be an incredible change in our community. You know, how can you help? Well, this is the okay, spread the word. This is, you know, spreading the word. If you know people who could fit into this program, let them know about the program. Please let them know about the program. We interview every 6 months. If you're not sure, ask me. I'll make sure that they get in front of the right people. So obviously, people can donate. People can host an event. You know, when you're looking to raise $1 million every 6 months, you're asking everybody. But introduce us to a landlord. You know, introduce us to a coach, or if any of you would want to coach. You know, you might take, if you've never coached before, you might take a coaching course and get a certificate. But let me tell you, it's an incredible experience. So Shiloh is our development director. She's the one who usually would give this talk. You know, Shiloh's the one who I think was here last time. Maybe Amy, I forget, Amy and or Shiloh were here last time. But it's been an incredible, you know, for me, it's been an incredible experience because we see the success we've had we want to keep having. We're now expanding, trying to expand into Dayton. Well, we have an affiliate who's living in Dayton, and there's some other cities where people are interested. But I'm glad you gave me the time to do this. Are there any questions? Stephen?
How many applicants do you typically see?
Well, originally, you know, for the initial, you know, 10 spots, we probably started out, well, we had about 400 to 500 apply. Now, that cuts down because they don't all meet the criteria. So you probably had, I don't know, 50 to 80 that met the criteria for the original 10. Then when we started the current program in 2022, we had, for the original 16, 18 spots, we probably had about 800 persons apply because we were a little better known in the community. Again, that cuts down to maybe 100 were eligible. I'm saying we currently have 81 in the program. We're looking to interview 16 to 18 because the goal is to have 100 families in the program at all times, and then as the 16 or 18 rotate out at the end of their 3 years, bring in another 16 to 18 to take their place. So it's interesting. We're not getting, the applications are being reduced currently. I mean, we're not getting as many applicants as we did in the past. I mean, you used to get, I'm saying, 16, you used to get initially 400 people applying. Yeah, I think the other thing is, since a lot of them weren't on their face, didn't meet the criteria, we're not getting as many of those because they've already tried and said, oh, I can't get this because I don't meet the criteria. Yes.
On the health outcomes, besides asthma, and you're saying basically the housing they were in on the health outcomes.
Yeah.
They had lead or they had dust or other contaminants in the house, and that's why they had the asthma, or were there other factors?
Well, I would think a lot of it is there's still a fair amount of lead paint and in housing in low opportunity neighborhoods, even though it's been outlawed since 1978. You can't build a structure. And then obviously when you have but yeah, there's still lead paint issues, you know, paint on the walls and paint around the windows. Yeah, there's, you know, that's the one that strikes me most, but yeah, there's other issues that cause them to not have the health that you would think they should have.
Kerwin or OSU study that at home?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know whether they've done a study or not. I mean, I know up in Cleveland, they had a big lead paint initiative to try and reduce, and it turned out the money was kind of wasted. And then there's a lot of recriminations now going on saying, what, we did all this money and we really didn't reduce lead paint very much in the city of Cleveland. Tim?
So when you talk about Cleveland and these other things, it begs the question for me, is there a national model that you know?
There's other programs that do things like this, but nothing quite as holistic as what we're doing. I mean, the other ones, in Minneapolis, there's called the Jeremiah program. And what they do is take families, they don't take families, they take single moms with, for the most part, children who are preschool age. They try and put them in they try and rent an apartment or they own an apartment building and they want them, they go to school, they put them in college. And so they're, whatever, they do coaching with them and, you know, what do they want to do? But it's basically an education model, putting them in, allowing them to get a degree or a certificate in an area that interests them and then be able to move out. There's another called Lift. And Jeremiah Project's in like 9 cities. Lyft, which in Chicago, DC, they're in 5 or 6 cities. They give coaching, but they, to persons in low opportunity neighborhoods, but they don't move them out of low opportunity neighborhoods. Basically, what we do differently than almost everybody else is we move families to higher opportunity neighborhoods. That's really that's the difference. There's other models that do coaching, there's other models, you know, that do, give rental assistance, but there's nobody who does all three except us, because it's very interesting, yeah.
On the educational side, do you work with SOS? I think it's the women's club has an SOS program, give money to single women to get advanced degrees, whether it's high school or college.
We have not, but that's, I will look into that because, I mean, most of our women during the program are working. I mean, some of them, a couple of them now have taken courses on the side while they're working, but you know, basically they've got a full-time job, they're working, we give them the rental assistance so they can stay in their units. You gotta realize the units they're staying in run from about $900 to $1,300 a month. You know, so, because landlords do not reduce the unit price. And also because many of them have partners who say, you know, who'd be in an uproar if they reduce the rent. So right now, if we give them rental assistance of $500, they've got to pick up the difference. You know, their work, you know,
Speaking of low income housing, what's the minimum you can build a house for? I mean,
Cool.
I
don't know.
$140 a square foot towards $200 a square foot.
I don't know. Boy, I don't know. I mean, I wish I could give you an answer.
There have been studies over the years about
Yeah.
low cost housing.
Oh, I mean, you could build a fairly simple house. The other issue that arises, if you're gonna be in a higher opportunity neighborhood, the building code standards probably wouldn't allow you to build $140 a square foot house. I think that's one of the real issues.
Neither with the land cost.
And with the, like you say, Jerry, with the land cost, probably not. What?
Can you give an example? I'm an applicant. And I want to take that, the moving expense, just to move from the old one, might run $2,000-3,000. Do you participate in helping the?
Oh, you mean for them to move?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that we participate in that. I mean, I don't know the answer to what the moving expense would be. I mean, my guess is a lot of them, again, if they're in a situation where they're not living in their own home, you know, in their own apartment or home, they probably don't own a lot of stuff other than the clothes, books, you know. I don't think there's as much to move as we might think if any of us in this room moved. I mean, but that's a good question. I can get you an answer. I don't have an answer to that right now.
I'm involved with that situation right now. I'm just moving. Hey, we're gonna find a place for them. And he's got minimal furniture. It's still, by the time he gets out the door, it's $2,000-3,000.
Absolutely.
And I didn't know whether you guys had that in your formula for assistance.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we do have miscellaneous monies because things arise for which they can't cover the costs during their years in the program. I mean, this doesn't help with the moving costs, but we do have, you know, basically emergency money when things arise, and, you know, we've been able, but it's never been thousands of dollars, thankfully. But, so my biggest thing is, I want to make you aware of it so that you can make others aware of it. Know that this exists in Central Ohio. It's a great program, and we want to keep it going. And so if you know any landlords, if you know anybody who might benefit from being in the program, have them apply. If you want to donate, bless you. But, you know, but I just love the opportunity of being able to speak about this to you. I mean, I really, really appreciate it. You guys have a great day. And I just want to also say thank you to Darnell for stepping up and interviewing, and and being selected district governor nominee designate. He's the DGND currently till July 1st. 4 initials behind your name, Darnell, I don't know. But I just want to publicly, before his club, congratulate him because I'm so happy he's in the district governor line. Thank you.
I'm sure people stick around for some more questions, and it was nice we got to applaud you and Darnell at the same time. That was double duty. And Charlie is up and ready to let Jim Miller win the raffle. So let's see, you let Teresa pull.
Yeah.
Last 4. 701.
That's not mine. 53. Oh, Sherry, all right. No, that was very good, Gary.
I'm doing my good deed.
Oh. Deliver the cake. Thank you.
Wait a minute. I actually pulled 2.
Oh, did you?
We're stuck together.
I've already given the money to Gary.
What's the other?
It's yours.
7100.
That's nice. And you can pull for the ace space.
Yeah.
Got 243 this week. They're right here, Al. I think the lucky ones are in here. I did not spread the deck there. Awesome. Good pull. All right, thank you. I believe that's the next thing, right? See, look at me. No, now, because I've got the notes. It's time for the 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, first, second, third, and fourth. Thanks, everybody. Please return your badges, and yes, I'm going to hit the back. Thank you. Hazardous up there. Yes. Because now I know going into that. Right. They were down 16 last night. They came back at 20.
So I'll see you guys out.
On Friday.
You know, Sharon, next to that. I think. Yeah.
But it's. Yeah.
That's younger than me.
Oh, being a rookie, Oh, really?
No, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about that.